What about when you, like Danish, that would be Japanese, during the Japanese lessons, when you read a book, when the whole class is reading the same book or the same whatever novel, or don't you discuss about it? So will there be questions like, why do you think the main character is behaving this way, or that kind of discussion?
この人はどんな気持ちでしょうっていうことを想像するという質問はあります、国語の中でも。その時にね、正解が用意されてるんですよ。この人はこう思ったみたいな。
I don't know what the English term is. In Danish, it would be a locked question. So it's not actually a question because the teacher already knows the answer. So he's just checking if he can get the right answer. Wow, I wish I could ask some Japanese pupils how they feel about that, how they react to that question. And I'm saying this because I was taking a course with all of my colleagues on communication, and we went over this kind of communication, this type of asking questions to check if you know the answer. That's something that you can do in kindergarten maybe, but you can't really do that with older students that you want to develop a individual critical thinking. They would feel like you kind of control them or look down on them, or like you're being a teacher to them. If I want it to be a more equal conversation, I can't be that kind of teacher who just asks questions to check if I get the right answer, because that's not a real conversation.
で、これはきっとね、その日本の教育の中にやっぱり通知表っていう制度が。
Yes, in Denmark we don't have these tests, evaluations every week, and it's not so much focused on reproducing knowledge. It's more based on being able to gather information and be critical and present it.
私が学生時代とても窮屈でした。でも先生の望む答えさえ答えられれば高評価を得られたので、私の通知表は良かった。けど学力が上がったかというと別の問題だった。
How much do you remember of what you learned in school? Because you were asked to reproduce some knowledge and remember it, but how much do you actually remember now? But most times, I think I've learned through like thinking about it or asking myself questions to understand the textbook. But I also had some subjects where we were asked to kind of reproduce the exact same answers. And both will work, but if I only had education for 9 years that were based on reproducing, I don't think it would be as engaging and developing for me as a person. And the job I'm in now, the kind of colleagues that I have, now we're talking about adults in their professional life, the culture is not at all like you reproduce, and like if you're instructed to do something, that you follow it 100% and you remember it and you do it. It's much more about having a personal opinion and being very critical and only do what you think is the right thing to do. So that's very interesting. What do you think, Yoko? I think it's because the pupils in school are afraid that they'll not pass their exams. That's why they have to remember what they're told. And also with a lot of adults in their professional life, in their job, they're afraid of the consequences if they don't try to follow the instructions or do what they're told to do. Even though, of course, they have a mind of their own and they're critical, but I think they're suppressing it sometimes because they're afraid of the consequences.
もうね、とてもあると思いますし、でもそのことにね、気づかないまま大人になってる可能性が非常に大きいと思います。私が小学校に入った時、もう小学校1年生の時から先生の授業が面白いか面白くないか関係なく、ずっとそこに授業の間 座っているっていうことをずっともう学校に入った時から毎日トレーニングをされているんですね。そこに静かに座ってるっていうトレーニングを受けています。どちらかといえば自分のアイデアを発信したりっていうよりも、先生の言ってることをずっと静かに黙って聞きなさいというトレーニングを受けて小学校、中学校を過ごしていると思います。
Wow. It sounds depressive, actually. I know it's not all bad, but yeah. To a Dane, it sounds like something that my parents' generation were rebelling against back in the 60s.
はい。自然の中でね、学習すると聞きますが、森の学校ではどんなことをやりますか？
The main philosophy behind this is that it's very developing for children to be able to just engage with what they find in nature, just play with a stick or invent their own games. It's very developing instead of having toys all over the place. Just, to imagine yourself and come up with your own games.
デンマークでは学校で何を大切に教育していますか？
It's on the one hand to achieve a certain academic level, to gain some knowledge when you're done with the 9th grade, and also further on in your education. So there's an academic component, but there's also a component of learning for life or developing as a person, personal skills. So some of those personal or social skills would be being able to listen, not interrupt all the time, taking turns when people are talking, being able to function in a group work, not being afraid of presenting your ideas in front of the other pupils or the teacher, things like that, and being a person, a nice person to be around, someone who's not bullying, someone who's, someone you can trust. I'm just thinking from what I hear about the way subjects are taught in Japanese schools, the way you learn when you're in a Japanese school, I would imagine that Japanese people have a very high level of general knowledge about a lot of things because they've all gone through this curriculum. At least they've heard and they've reproduced a lot of knowledge. And my impression in Denmark is that it's very varying, it's very different how much people actually know as basic knowledge.
マスと一緒にね、話していく中で、もう一つ新しい企画をハピネスカタリストを考えました。ハピネスカタリスト、あゆみさんと一緒にやる前の、これからね、未来の話なんですけれども、2月の18日に、ハピネスコーレというまたね、対話の時間を設けようと思っています。これの目的は、デンマークにはフォルケホイスコーレという学校が、大人の学校があります。で、これって大人がね、学び直しをするような時間なんですけれども、日本にはもっと大人が対話をしたりとか、なんか人生について学び直しをする時間があるといいなというふうに思っています。そこで、そのフォルケホイスコーレのスコーレっていうのは学校って意味なんですが、幸せについて考える学校っていう意味でですね、ハピネスコーレっていうタイトルで、まずは2月の18日に生き方編、それから翌2月の25日の木曜日にキャリア編、そしてさらに翌週3月の4日の木曜日に子育て編、そのテーマで対話の時間を設けたいと思っています。ハピネスカタリスト、また PTX の方でもね、ご案内してますし、Facebook の方でもフォローいただければと思います。ぜひ皆さんと一緒に、これはね、Zoom で行っていきますので、リアルなライブ対話に入っていただければと思います。ご参加ください。